The Golden State Warriors were right in the middle of one of their best stretches of basketball all season, playing with confidence, rhythm, and purpose, winning 12 of their last 16 games and finally putting together a 4-game win streak that felt like a turning point. Everything about the team pointed upward. The ball was moving, the defense was connected, and the roster looked energized. Then, in a moment that completely flipped the emotional temperature of the season, the news dropped and it hit like a punch to the gut. During that win against Miami, another dominant performance that extended the positive run, Jimmy Butler went down, and what followed quickly became the kind of update no Warriors fan ever wants to hear. A torn anterior cruciate ligament, an injury that immediately ends his season and forces the entire organization to stop and reassess everything. Short-term, long-term, present goals, future plans, all of it suddenly feels uncertain. This was not just another injury. This was one of those moments that alters the direction of a franchise. Warriors fans know this feeling all too well. The memories come flooding back instantly. The finals run that ended with devastating injuries. Seasons where momentum was stolen at the worst possible time. Even last year, when the team looked dangerous until health became an issue again. There is a sense of cruel familiarity here, especially because of how well this team was playing. It makes the timing even more brutal. The Warriors were not surviving. They were thriving. And now, everything feels fragile again. Jimmy Butler had been a massive part of why this team looked different. He brought structure, toughness, and a calm authority on the floor. Statistically, he was delivering around 20 points per game, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists, while also knocking down 3-point shots at a rate we have never really seen from him across his career. Defensively, his impact went far beyond the box score. He organized possessions, absorbed pressure, and allowed others to play freer basketball. Losing that presence is not something you simply replace. What makes this situation even heavier is Butler's age and where he is in his career. He is approaching 37, and while his resume speaks for itself, time is undefeated. Injuries like this at this stage force difficult questions, not just about recovery, but about identity, longevity, and the final chapters of a career built on competitiveness and sacrifice. Jimmy has played with joy again since arriving in the Bay, and seeing that joy interrupted like this is heartbreaking for the locker room and the fan base alike. From a standings perspective, things have been lining up. The Warriors were sitting at 25 wins and 19 losses, climbing, gaining ground, and staying within striking distance of teams ahead of them in the Western Conference. The numbers showed progress. The eye test confirmed it. Lineups were clicking, confidence was building, and the sense of belief was real. Now, that momentum faces its biggest test. This injury forces the organization to confront uncomfortable decisions. With the trade deadline approaching, every option becomes more complicated. Do you stay patient and ride things out, believing in internal growth and a future return? Or do you get aggressive, reshaping the roster to maximize what remains of the Stephen Curry era? Every path carries risk, and every delay carries consequences. The clock is loud right now, and everyone can hear it ticking. Stephen Curry is not getting younger. Draymond Green has logged countless physical battles. Al Horford, Jimmy Butler, this core understands exactly where they are in their careers. That is what makes this moment feel bigger than one season. It feels like a crossroads. The way the Warriors respond over the next stretch could define not only this year, but the legacy of this entire era. Despite all of that, there are reasons to believe this story is not finished. Other players have been stepping up, and not quietly. Brandon Podziemski has been outstanding, bringing energy, confidence, and edge. Over this recent stretch, he has averaged around 18 points per game, grabbed rebounds, created plays, and shot the ball efficiently from the field and from beyond the arc. He is not just filling minutes. He is impacting games in meaningful ways, talking, competing, and embracing responsibility. This is the kind of moment that accelerates growth. Podziemski has spoken about wanting more responsibility in the future, about eventually taking the keys when the veterans move on. Opportunities like this do not wait. They arrive suddenly, and they demand immediate response. His willingness to do the dirty work, take charges, dive on the floor, and still score when needed is exactly what this team needs right now. Moses Moody deserves mention as well. Over the last 4 games, his shooting has been lights out, converting 18 of his 29 three-point attempts, a rate north of 60%. The Warriors won all 4 of those games. Confidence matters in this league, and when shooters believe every look is going in, defenses change how they react. Feeding that confidence and letting it grow could be crucial as roles expand. Buddy Hield also stepped up in an emotional moment. When Butler went down, it was Hield right there offering support, trying to lift spirits, even cracking jokes in an attempt to break the tension. On the floor, he delivered, knocking down shots and providing spacing that kept the offense functional. With multiple rotation players missing time, his presence becomes even more important. D'Anthony Melton has quietly been a stabilizing force as well. Over his last several games, he has hovered around 17 points per night while shooting efficiently and defending at a high level. The Warriors have been raining three-pointers, making history with multiple games where 10 different players connected from deep. That kind of balance does not happen by accident. It is the product of spacing, trust, and unselfish play. Of course, all of this was made easier by the gravity of Stephen Curry and the attention Jimmy Butler commanded. Without Butler, defenses will adjust. The margin for error shrinks. Shots become more contested. Reads must be quicker. That is where belief and preparation come into play. This team cannot afford hesitation. And then there is Jonathan Kuminga, the biggest question mark of them all. The Warriors need someone who can attack downhill, pressure the rim, draw defenders into the paint, and create opportunities for others. Kuminga has asked for more minutes, more trust, more opportunity. Moments like this are exactly what players wait for, whether they realize it or not. If the door opens, he has to walk through it ready to contribute, not just flash potential. This roster, even without Jimmy Butler, still has talent, experience, and championship DNA. It may not look the same. It may not feel as safe. But seasons are not defined solely by comfort. Sometimes they're defined by adversity, by how teams respond when everything feels like it is slipping away. The Warriors have been here before, counted out, questioned, doubted, and they have found ways to fight back. When an injury like this happens, the conversation around the team shifts almost instantly from basketball to philosophy. It becomes less about matchups and more about direction. The Warriors are no longer just asking how to win the next game. They are asking what version of themselves they want to be for the rest of this season and beyond. Every decision now carries weight because every decision is tied to time, and time is the one resource this core does not have an abundance of anymore. There is a real emotional conflict in evaluating Jimmy Butler's future with the franchise. On one hand, he is beloved in the locker room and by the fan base. His impact goes far beyond numbers. He brought joy back into his game, and that joy spread throughout the roster. On the other hand, the reality of the league is cold. A season-ending injury at this stage of a career forces front offices to consider paths they would rather avoid. Patience could mean wasting valuable years of Stephen Curry's window. Aggression could mean sacrificing future flexibility for a short-term gamble. There's no clean answer. This is why the next few weeks feel so defining. How the Warriors operate leading up to the deadline will likely shape the final chapters of this era. Do they push all their chips to the center of the table in a last attempt to salvage the season? Or do they protect assets and accept a longer view? There may be a middle ground, but even that requires precision. One wrong move could close doors permanently. What complicates everything is that despite the injury, this team has not looked broken on the floor. The ball movement has been sharp. The shooting has been confident. The defense, while imperfect, has shown effort and cohesion. This is not a roster that looks ready to quit. That matters. Players feel it. Coaches feel it. And most importantly, Stephen Curry feels it. Curry has always been the emotional and competitive engine of this franchise. In moments like this, his leadership becomes even more important. He understands the pain of losing teammates to injury. He understands the frustration of watching potential slip away. but he also understands what belief can do. His presence alone changes how opponents prepare and how teammates approach the game. As long as he is on the floor, the Warriors are never truly out of a fight. Steve Kerr also carries responsibility in this moment. Rotations will change. Roles will expand. Mistakes will happen. The challenge is creating an environment where younger players feel empowered rather than overwhelmed. Confidence can disappear quickly when expectations rise, and it is up to the coaching staff to balance accountability with trust. One of the most important elements moving forward will be how the Warriors replace Jimmy Butler's leadership, not just his production. Leadership does not always come from speeches. Sometimes it comes from effort, from consistency, from showing up every night regardless of circumstances. Several players now have the chance to grow into that space. Brandon Podziemski has already shown signs of embracing that responsibility. He plays with edge and fearlessness, unafraid of big moments or physical play. His confidence has been contagious, and his willingness to do the small things sets a tone. If he continues on this trajectory, he could become one of the emotional anchors of this group. Moses Moody's growth could also be pivotal. Shooting at such an efficient level is not just about mechanics. It is about rhythm, trust, and opportunity. If he continues to knock down shots at a high rate, defenses will have no choice but to respect him, opening space for others to operate. That kind of spacing is essential in an offense built around movement and read-based decisions. Buddy Hield's role may expand as well. Known primarily as a shooter, he now has an opportunity to influence games through leadership and energy. His reaction to Butler's injury showed the human side of the locker room, the bonds that form over long seasons. Those bonds matter when adversity hits. DeAnthony Melton's consistency will be another key factor. He brings balance, capable of scoring, defending, and making smart decisions with the ball. In a period of uncertainty, players like Melton can steady the ship, preventing momentum from completely unraveling. Then there is Jonathan Kuminga, standing at the center of the biggest question the Warriors face internally. For years, the conversation around him has been about potential, explosiveness, athleticism, flashes. Now the conversation needs to be about impact. The team needs someone who can put pressure on the rim, force rotations, and create advantages when defenses load up on Curry. Kuminga has the physical tools to do that. What remains to be seen is whether he can do it consistently within the structure of this offense. This moment represents a test, not just of skill, but of mindset. Being ready means understanding the opportunity and accepting the responsibility that comes with it. If Kuminga rises to the occasion, he could change the trajectory of this season. If he struggles, the margin for error becomes razor thin. Despite the pain and uncertainty, there is still a path forward. The Western Conference is unpredictable. Injuries happen. Momentum swings quickly. Teams that look unbeatable one month can look vulnerable the next. The Warriors have experience navigating chaos, and that experience should not be underestimated. There's also something powerful about being counted out. Doubt can either crush a team or free it. Free it from expectations, from pressure, from fear of failure. Playing with nothing to lose can unlock a level of competitiveness that surprises people. The Warriors have built a dynasty on defying conventional limits. This moment challenges them to do it once more in a different way. Before we continue, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any exclusive Dubs updates. Let's keep going. What had been whispered for months in league corridors is now being treated as a serious possibility behind closed doors. The Golden State Warriors are exploring a franchise-altering move that could reshape the balance of power across the NBA. According to sources familiar with internal discussions, a megatrade framework is circulating, and one name sits at the center of it all: LeBron James. The idea of LeBron in a Warriors uniform once belonged strictly to late-night debates and social media fantasy. Now, executives, agents, and rival teams are quietly acknowledging that the concept has moved from fiction to calculation. Golden State's front office, known for bold timing and long-range vision, is reportedly weighing the cost of one last all-in push around Stephen Curry's championship window. The logic is simple, if staggering. Pair two generational minds, two gravity-warping superstars, and see if the league can keep up. Financially and politically, such a deal would be seismic. It would require a complex web of outgoing contracts, future assets, and delicate negotiations with multiple stakeholders. But insiders suggest the Warriors believe the cultural fit matters as much as the numbers. LeBron's basketball IQ, adaptability, and leadership are seen as compatible with Steve Kerr's system, while his presence could immediately elevate Golden State from contender to obsession. Around the league, the rumor has triggered a mix of disbelief and preparation. Some executives dismiss it as leverage, others as posturing, yet more than a few are adjusting contingency plans just in case. Opposing fan bases are already bracing for the shockwaves, knowing that a successful union could redefine narratives that have run parallel for over a decade. Nothing is signed, nothing is guaranteed, and silence remains the official stance. Still, the leak itself speaks volumes. When conversations reach this level of detail, history suggests something significant is at least being attempted. Whether the deal materializes or collapses under its own weight, one thing is clear. The Warriors are not done trying to bend the future, and the mere possibility of LeBron James joining them has already changed the conversation. Stay updated exclusively with the latest Dub Nation news. Subscribe to our channel and hit the like button to keep getting daily updates on the Warriors. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments. Your input is essential for the Dubs community. Stay tuned for the next video.